If it depends if you feel like you've got a good view. You got a good view? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. No, if you have a good view there, then stay. But if you want to get a better view, come.
Okay, I need to quickly talk about something with you.
Come on, everyone, make your way in. here, but do we have all judges? Oh, there's a judge. Norman, where might you be?
Norman Upsley?
I think by the first name it was. Okay. In the meantime, our pitching finalists are preparing, and we're about to start. We'll give it another minute and we'll kick off. Thank you. So yesterday, during the networking games and the kickoff of the day, we had the first round, the semi-finals, if you will, of the pitching competition. Today, in front of the full audience, we're going to have the finals of the competition. Let me tell you a little bit about the pitching competition and the way that it works. First of all, we have our jury that's going to join us, and I'll actually invite them to come on stage here with us now. We've got Doralyn Chan from Entrepreneur First. We've got Manuel Bierman, Anisha, Anna Alviani, and Lino is going to take Norman's seat up until Norman joins us. Our jury will be tasked with selecting the best finalist from the pitching competition based on a number of criteria. Those criteria are Those criteria are 5 in number. Sorry?
Do you want me to introduce them?
If you like.
No, you have it.
Okay. There are 5 criteria by which we're going to choose the finalists. Each one has an equal score, but when they go to the awards, they have different weightings, which I'll tell you about in a second. So the 5 criteria are the business model and the proposition, the effectiveness of the innovation and the unique selling points of the innovation, the market opportunity, and the communication and the presentation skills of the given finalist, and the social and economic impact. Okay? There will be 3 awards given at the end of the pitching competition. 1 for business model and proposition. Oh wait. Okay. Oh, that's not the name of the awards. Good work. Okay. I'll see the do you remember the awards? There was the most groundbreaking innovation.
Yes, let me.
You go for it.
Yes. So we have one which is for the most technically groundbreaking innovation. We have another one which is for the biggest social impact or environmental impact or whatever you have it. And there's another one which is for the most fundable business. And did you want me to introduce how we're going to score them? Yeah, of course, yeah. So we use the same scoring criteria to evaluate all the projects at the moment, but when we are going to be picking the winner in each category, we're going to put extra weight on certain considerations. So for the most investable thing, we look for a very compelling, unique value proposition that supports some kind of a defensible and highly scalable product. And we're going to look at the market size, and we're going to double the weight of these scores, right? For the social impact, we'll keep everything 1 except the social impact criteria, which we'll multiply by 3. And then for the technically innovative, groundbreaking one, we'll just multiply by 3 the innovation score. Okay? Was that clear?
I think it's reasonably clear. It's more clear than I explained it, in any case. Good. Okay, let's wait no further, shall we? I'll introduce our first finalist. Could I invite Yongchong Chen from China, please?
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for giving me the chance to introduce the lithium slurry battery for energy storage. The Nobel Prize this year in chemistry is awarded to 3 scientists to developing the lithium-ion batteries. I'm sorry, it's not working for this one.
Is it working?
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Yeah. So the lithium-ion battery is now used in everything from mobile phones, laptops, electric vehicles, and the grid energy storage stations. The renewable energy is not stable. So 80+ energy storage stations, then we can get the continuous, reliable electricity. But the lithium-ion battery for energy storage now is too expensive, short life, low safety, and difficult recycling. For example, 24 energy storage stations have been burned during the past 2 years in Korea. Also, the lithium-ion battery is very difficult to recycle. So our solution is lithium slurry battery. The battery has 2 unique features. The first one is 6 slurry electrode. This makes the battery low cost and easy recycling. The second one is renewable electrolyte. It makes the battery long life and high safety. From the computation table, we can see that in the future, most of the lead acid battery can be substituted by the lithium slurry battery. And this is the testing and certification report of the third party. The core patent has been issued in March this year by USA. MR and MR renewable storage business model, manufacture of the battery, and the rental of the battery for energy storage. Then, because of the renewable electrolyte property, the battery can be maintained, which is different from lithium-ion battery. Also, because of the thick slurry electrolyte, the battery can be easy for recycling. Market and the customers, communication base stations, grid energy storage, and low-speed vehicles. Now, most of the market is occupied by the lead-acid battery. So in the future, we'll replace the lead-acid battery by lithium slurry battery. We are the first one to invent the name and the technology of lithium slurry battery in the world. Now, we have applied 95 patents. We have the largest number of patents of this direction. Also, we have raised $10 million funding, and half of the funding has been spent for the building of the first pilot test line in China, and half of the funding is preparing for the magnification line in the next year. Future, we started the research work from 2011. And this year, we finished the proven prototype battery. In the next year, the customer recognition work will be very important for the industrialization of this battery. Fortunately, I am the lecturer professor of Huawei Watt Laboratory. And also, I am the group leader of experts workshop of World Bank in China for energy storage. Also, we have the cooperation agreement with State Grid Corporation of China. And I am the chairman of China International Energy Storage Conference. These occupations can help the battery for the customer recognition. So have we succeeded? I think no. We are on the way of innovation of the battery. I think that in the future, there will be big challenge. For example, the core equipment for the manufacturer commercial line. So thank you for your
Your
attention.
time is up.
Thank you.
10 minutes for questions.
Hi, first question. First off, congratulations. Sounds like you've made tremendous progress. Very impressive with the numerous patents that you filed. I guess my first question is, so we have a lot of battery companies in the EF portfolio.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you want to be the replacement for lead-acid batteries.
Yes.
So can you explain a little bit about the go-to-market? How are you convincing manufacturers to switch to your battery? How are you convincing customers? Have you been running lots of pilots? Just talk to me a little bit about the go-to-market strategy.
Yes, I think that first, the characteristic of the lithium slurry battery is better than the lead-acid battery. And second, you know, in China, the government now is forbidden the lead-acid battery used in the low-speed vehicles, like 2 cycles and 3 and 4 cycles low-speed vehicles. We have the standards, have the regulation. So I think that in the future, not all of the lead-acid battery, but most of the lead-acid battery can be substituted by the lithium slurry battery. Yeah.
It sounds very impressive. What I was wondering, like, where are you placing yourself in that value chain? Are you just providing the technology? Are you going to be a manufacturer of that technology? Like, where are you coming into the picture?
Okay. Yes, we have the testing and the certification report of the third party, but this report is for the first type lithium slurry battery. So now we are making the MVP battery for the test, for example, by Huawei for the communication station battery.
But do you want to build out more factories, or are you looking for other partners to like then actually just license your technology to? Or
the first commercial line will be built by us, but in the future, we'll open the technology and we'll cooperate with the local companies to product battery. We just provide the technologies for the manufacture, for the maintenance, and for the recycling. We provide the technology.
Can you tell us a little bit about your business model? So, you know, how much do these batteries cost to make? How much are you going to sell them for? Just tell us a little bit about how you're going to make money out of this.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you going to make money out of this? How much are you going to?
Yeah.
How are you going to? How much are you going to charge for it? How much does it cost to make batteries, and then how much are you going to sell them for?
First, the cost of the battery is lower than the lithium-ion battery. So that's the benefit of the battery, and we can section of the patents and the technology to other companies, and we get the benefit from the production of the battery and from the maintenance of the battery system in the future. Yeah.
Thank you so much for pitching. I know it's really like nerve-wracking to stand up there, so thank you initially. I wanted to reiterate on a question from earlier, which was, you talked about your first pilot. Could you give us a bit more detail about what that entails? Is there financial upside for you from it? And what are you looking to learn from that first pilot?
You mean the first pilot line?
Yes.
Yes, it's a small one. Just for the production of the first, we call pilot test battery, but not for MVP. So now we are building the magnification line for MVP battery. It's the important point for our process. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
You spoke a little bit about that, but I still haven't fully wrapped my head around it. Can you explain again the competitive landscape around the different market segments you're selling to? Like, for example, you're speaking about cell phone towers and the batteries, the backup batteries that you've already replaced in one case. There seems to be other applications for the battery. Can you just walk us through different segments you see, and what's the competition in those for those users of your technology?
Okay, a good question. I think that lithium-ion battery will be used in the cell phone, in the small storage system, but not for the big one. It can, if it's used in the big one, and many problems. So we have to invent the lithium-style battery. Yeah. So the lithium-ion battery is suitable for cell phone, but not suitable for the big one. That's the problem. So we invented the lithium-style battery. It's the big one. So lithium-style battery is not useful for cell phone, but it's useful for energy storage station. It's the big one. That's the problem.
So to get this correctly, again, I thought you're not using it in the device, right? It's a big battery that you use.
Yeah.
That's how I understood the product, right? If you guys can help me, I guess, if I haven't gotten this right. But if you have a cell phone tower, right? This is what you said, or did I get it wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a tower, right? So you have a backup energy storage in the tower, and this way you use this battery that you can't, and in that case you can't use a normal lithium-ion battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what type of batteries do they use, the cell towers use at the moment? It's the previous generation, you said it's acid. What was the name of the previous generation of technology? Yeah. So this is one market segment, how these batteries can be used. Can you explain a little bit what are the alternatives and the considerations to people that need to install those your solution in the cell towers and how are they making a commercial decision about that. I'm just trying to figure that bit out.
Okay. I think that these three markets is the special market for the lithium slurry battery. So it's the special for the energy storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe another direction, can you tell us a little bit more about the team setup you have there? What are you planning? And also, like, what are the biggest challenges for you? Like, what is going to be the biggest challenge looking into the next 1 or 2 years?
You mean like last one in the next year?
In the next 2 years, what will be the biggest challenge? And also, like, tell us a little bit about the team. Like, what are you planning to build there?
Yeah, I think that team is not our challenge because now in our team we have an engineer and also businessman and the manager in our team. But the big challenge is the new manufacture equipment. It needs us to design. But the other equipment is can be buy in the market or other company can provide. But some of the core equipments should be designed by us. So that's the challenge. Now we are doing that work. Yeah.
Just a final question from me is on policy. So what regulation and policy are you going to have to overcome to get this to market?
You mean the policy, the regulation of the government?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, because the lead acid battery has the pollution risk, and also especially in China. So the government give the regulation to forbidden the lead acid battery using. So I think that's the market opportunity for the lithium slurry battery. Because the computations of this battery, I think, is better than the lead acid battery. Also, it's better than lithium-ion battery. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we're out of time for questions.
Okay, thank you.
So,
thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So, some lowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Yongchun. Thank you very much. So I would like to invite our next pitcher, Shashikant Burnwell. And the clicker. Oh, the clicker. Yes, that's the way you win. And take the clicker. Very good. Thank you very much. There you go. Clap again, everybody. Let's make it jovial. Come on. It's the afternoon.
Hi. What you are carrying in your wallet today? Cash, IDs, credit card, key cards. All these are going to be replaced by a single device, your smartphone. But there is a huge barrier to this future. Have you tried connecting two devices next to each other? An Android to a Mac or a Windows? A Samsung phone to an Apple TV? All the current technologies are slow, insecure, inefficient, and often doesn't work. And this problem is going to get worse with increased number of smart devices. Now think, what if we can seamlessly connect two devices just using its microphone and speakers, and they can communicate with each other using inaudible sound waves without the need of any hardware. This is not just an idea. We are creating this future right now. We are already present in more than 2 million devices and have filed 3 patents. Hi, I am Shashikant, co-founder of Drillbit. Let me show you how it works. I have an Android watch. With just tap of a button, It can transmit its ID on inaudible sound waves that can connect to my laptop or any smart device, a smartphone, an IoT device, or a point of sale. And with that, we can develop the host of applications. But speakers are not everywhere. Speakers are not only in the smart devices. They are everywhere. Actually, there are more number of speakers than people on Earth. And Trilbit can convert each of them into data transmitter. By connecting them all, we can build the Internet of Sound. And to realize this vision, we are working with some of the world leaders in tech. Samsung approached us for seamless device connectivity. So did Cisco to build the smart spaces using speakers. We are working with world's best sound technology company, Bose, for seamless device authentication without the need of an app. All these three sectors combined represent a $40 billion market opportunity. Let me give you a few examples how we are creating value for our customers. We are working on a project with Western Union to connect their customer's phone to their point of sale for seamless authentication. That will not only make their transaction more secure, but 4 times more faster. Then India's biggest grocery chain, Big Basket, they are using our technology to connect their users' phone to the vending machines for digital payment. We are able to bring down their transaction dropout from 30% to 1%. We are software-only solution, which can be integrated into any app, website, or a device. We charge our client one-time licensing fee and then make recurring revenue pay per click or based on the use case. All this would not have been possible without a great team. We all 3 co-founders have known each other for 12 years. While Bhaskar and Miguel have deep expertise in sound technology, I have experience in commercializing new products. We are a team of 10 amazing people coming from very strong technical and business background. We have created a default language in which devices will talk to each other. Currently, we are present in more than 2 million devices. We have a pilot that will take us to 10 million devices by end of this year. However, recently we won a contract with Viacom, competing against Series A and beyond startups, and now by working with them, we will reach to 50 million devices by end of 2019. I attended the LEAP program this year. The program actually helped us to pivot in our business, and since then we have seen the amazing journey. We have made $50,000 revenue from them. We raised $300,000, have got the commitment of $1 million from our existing investors. We came out of the TechStars Accelerator program in US, and now we are increasing our global footprint. You are welcome to support us and be part of this journey. Let's build the Internet of Sound together. Thank you.
Sounds pretty amazing, technology. I haven't heard about that, that protocol basically in the end. Like, how are you rolling it out now? Like, what is actually your go-to-market? How are you commercializing that? What is the actual first product on the market I can try?
Yeah, sure. So there are 2 ways actually we are going to market. One is like direct sales. So basically we are approaching the potential clients in India and US and working with them to develop the use cases which is relevant for them. So take example of Western Union. So they were one of the corporate sponsor of the TechStars program we attended. So we developed 1 or 2 use cases. For that we are working with them. Similarly in India, we are working with few of the retail clients, few of the media companies like Viacom. So if you see, there is a lot of application in the technology. So what happens that we provide a SDK kind of solution which can be integrated into the business's app, and the use cases can be developed on top of that based on the business requirement of a particular company or particular brand. Then the second way we are also building the business is basically the channel partnership. So there are like partners, like in UAE, we just have signed a deal where they will actually take our technology to the local businesses there, and that we are doing on the revenue sharing basis with them.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. It was very slick, very nice presentation. I had a question about the technology behind it in terms of the sound. Could you just explain how that works? Is it a certain wavelength you're using? Is it ultrasound? Just so we understand more how the tech of it works.
Yes, sure. So we work on a frequency range which is around 17 kilohertz to 22 kilohertz, which is normally not audible to human being. Only like very good hearing people can hear that. And in that range, what we are doing is basically encoding the data through the modulation on the sound waves. So that is encoding part, and then it is getting played through speakers, TV, or any device which has the speakers. Now, at the receiving side, once that data is received, we decode it through our advanced algorithms, and whatever the messages is encoded on that, that gets triggered, that can exactly, you can show based on the use case, or you can pass a link, and then that will fetch the information from the cloud and server and show you the rich contents depending on the use case.
So you say that only certain people with good hearing could potentially hear it. Does that include younger children? So, as children get older, they lose certain frequencies. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are the potential use cases where this may be a problem? For example, if you were to use this in a bedroom of a child, would this cause disturbance?
Yes, sure. So if you will see, theoretical range is actually 20 kilohertz. So anyway, we are not harmful to any animal or any human being. The only thing is, if you will see the use case of the retail, so, or like any other use case, mostly this sound tones is getting played with the already audible music or audible sound which is playing there. So anyway, that hides our range. And practically, if you will see, it does not make you any difference. Because if you will go to a retail store, you will be seeing music playing. You will never listen to our tone, which is like just going on top of that.
My question is about regulatory considerations. Are there any regulatory considerations?
Yes, sure.
For this
so this is actually mechanical waves. As you know, sound is mechanical waves, and the spectrum is till 20 kilohertz for the theoretical range. So as of now, no regulations have been for any part of the country, means any part of the globe, even in India, even in the US. But yeah, there are a lot of interest which is coming, and a lot of companies now started doing the research. So maybe in foreseeable future, some regulations can come to capture that spectrum and the usage of that spectrum.
Can I ask one more question, please? It's about your competition. Can you tell us a little bit about your competitors?
Yes, sure. So in the specific, this space, there are 3 or 4 companies across the globe who are working on this specific part of technology, sound technology. You want me to name them? Okay, sure. So all these companies are working, but we are better than them in terms of like 3 components. One is like we have the best in the data transfer speed, so we can transfer more data because we have the highest speed. Second one is the range, so our advanced algorithms that has actually got developed with the professors of MIT and UIUC, who are world leader in this space. So that gives us a better range. And the third one is the use cases what we are developing. That is like very unique and challenging. So if you will see the use case of the retail, lot of noises are already there. And then you have to work out with all the practical conditions there. So if you will see, no other competitor is actually working in such type of use cases. We took time to develop that and implemented it.
Can you share some insights on the financial upside of that model? Like, I have no idea how that is being priced and how is that being rolled out.
Yeah, sure. So we have, I will say that we have figured it out like 70–80% now. We struggled a lot in the initial years because it was a new technology and the market was not knowing about this technology. So it is more like we charge one-time licensing fee for our piece of the technology. And it again ranges depending on the clients and the sector. So typical example is like a retailer can pay me around $50,000 as a one-time to integrate the SDK into the app. And then we started making recurring revenue. Like if they want to utilize our technology to push the offers. So based on how many messages has been pushed through our technology, we monetize it. So that comparable model will be like your CPI model for Google AdWords. If you are paying, we say that we are bringing more relevance and more location intelligence. So we charge comparable to that or little bit higher to that.
So my question is around, so there are a lot of different technologies and solutions for IoT and connecting devices. It sounds like something that you're working on, the Internet of Sound is very interesting. So I guess my question is, what particular customer segment that you found you've been able to get most traction with?
Yes, sure. So 2 examples I put for the Western Union and the big baskets. So such type of use cases has some challenges already they faced with the existing technology. So I will just try to put the example of the big basket. So they use the app to do the transaction, but the problem is the vending machines they put in different places, network connectivity is not good there. So once user go there, they don't have the internet connectivity. So the machine does not know that you have come, and they don't identify you. Now, using our technology, basically customer identifier will be sent through the sound waves only. Now machine will know how much wallet balance you have, and then you can seamlessly do the transaction even if internet is not there. So the use cases always is like, if any requirement is there for the additional hardware, so and speaker and microphone is there, we perfectly fit there. So like we can replace Bluetooth beacons in the retail proximity marketing because the speakers are already there in the stores. They can just use them as audio beacons. They don't have to install the additional hardware.
I understand what you're doing and those benefits you outlined. I'm just trying to figure out from a vision perspective, where do you want to take this company? Do you want to become like an open standard platform like Bluetooth down the line that people adopt? Do you want to become a specialized company that does B2B projects for clients like the ones you outlined? Is the development platform? Can you just help us figure out the longer term future?
So if you will see the current stage of the company, we are trying to do B2B and like approaching client one by one. But we see a bigger play. Now, like we have become one of the 3 partners for the Samsung in India. So they started working with the startups in India. We have chosen for this year. So if any such big companies or OEMs are there, then what you are suggesting, that is actually the bigger play, where like all the Samsung devices can have our SDK or technology integrated into their mobile. So now you can imagine all the applications. Like now, without NFC also, you can do the payment transactions, just like Apple Pay, using our technology to all the retail locations. So that will become the bigger play and also help us to spread our technology much deeper into the lives of the people.
Maybe one last question about the product. Like, is interference a problem? So if I look at Union Bank or like others, like if I have multiple people standing next to each other all using the service, and also can I just record it because it's just sound? Like can I just like basically stand next to them and like record it and go back to the ATM? Or
Sure, glad you asked that. So how we are managing it, basically depending on the location or the use cases, the tones are quite different. And it has like 3 parts. One is like we call it preamble. Preamble means
time is up.
Preamble means it will
clap, everybody, otherwise you'll keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up is Rizky Muhammad from Indonesia. Ooh, there we go.
Oh, wait, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Are we on? Oh, the clicker. How do you, just next, okay. Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Rizky Muhammad. I'm founder and CEO of Rencanamu, previously known as Youth Manual. So I want to start introducing Zihad, a recent vocational high school graduate. He comes from a lower tier economic family. His dad is a Gojek driver. His mom is a housewife, earning a household combined income of $300 or $400 every month. So despite his degree and skills he acquired from high school, majority of people like Zihad end up working as a cleaning service, office boy, parking attendant, or just like his dad, a Gojek driver. His dad is a graduate of elementary school. And there's about 3 million people like Jihad in Indonesia. So over the past 3 years, we help students build a social ranking through our personalized, data-driven career readiness platform to help people like Jihad increase their employability, while at the same time connect them with the most suitable opportunities, whether that's jobs, internships, and scholarships. This is the talent condition in Indonesia right now. 92% of high school graduates, they're not sure on what they want to do once they leave school. People like Jihad, 82% of them, they are underemployed. And there's a mismatch on supply and demand on what the industry actually needs and what the students are actually pursuing. Talent crisis and skill gap is becoming the nation's most pressing problem. What we're solving is not just youth unemployment, but Indonesia's biggest concern is underemployment. Our thesis is simple. Everybody wants to be successful in college, career, and life. Unfortunately, they don't know where to start and how to get there. So over the past 3 years, we built an early intervention providing comprehensive college and career readiness platform through series of assessments, tools, and online resources. It's backed by psychometrics, data science, educational and behavioral research. And how do you go back? Okay. And the result is an integrated, comprehensive talent development platform with highest level of accuracy, recommendation, and predictive capabilities. You might ask what students do on our platform. It's a career development framework that's industry approved and research backed, and it's proven to help students increase their employability. They come to our platform early to perform self-discovery so they can explore various opportunities that's available out there. And we help them create actionable plans so they can get market ready and ultimately connect them to the most suitable opportunities. Behind the hood, we're actually building what we call people index scoring. It's like a social ranking or like a credit scoring, but to measure their employability. It's a personalized planning at each phase of their journey and profile for every student. We have a strong profiling and data analytics capabilities, combining their personal information, personal preference, aspiration, dimensions of psychometric assessment, work readiness, and student success planner data. So for the first time, we've been able to democratize opportunities by building predictive profiling to evaluate potential, not just what they put on a piece of paper. So at this point in time, we're actually connecting students with economic opportunities. Best institutions are actually recruiting talents from our platform that's market ready. So we're building a platform for employers and for career centers throughout Indonesia that's actually built around students. And the whole mission is actually to be able to provide a real-time workforce and market data analytics that's going to be useful for the government. And to this date, we're Indonesia's largest student analytics. We're the #1 go-to talent development and recruiting platform for early graduates with about 1.6 million profiles. And by the end of the year, we're on target to hit 2 million. By next year, we're hitting 5 million users. If you look at the market opportunity, Indonesia is in tremendous growth trajectory. There's going to be 57 million shortage in skilled and semi-skilled workforce. So we need 57 million between now and 2030. And when you're talking about the sourcing and screening market, that's actually $11 billion market. You're not talking about a training that comes afterwards. So this is Jihad. He's now a software engineer earning $600 a month. And he's preparing for a part-time college degree. And I believe if we can empower millions of people like Jihad, we'll be a game changer. So finally, a platform that democratizes opportunities for everyone. Thank you. Oops, over here.
Great timekeeping. Thanks for the pitch. Really interesting. So I just have a very simple question. How do you make money?
So let me tell you that our uniqueness actually stems from our ability to provide intervention from students early on, from high school. So for the past 4 years, we've been helping students to be college ready. Now most of our students are already in college. They're trying to find work. So we don't want them to be off the platform and go to job portals. We want to connect them opportunities. We're imagining in the next couple of years, students in Indonesia no longer need to find jobs. All they have to do is increase their employability index. They'll get connected to opportunities. So right now, we're trialing with a subscription mode for partners and also pay-per-hire afterwards.
Okay, so when you say subscription mode, you're charging a subscription fee for all the different companies that want to
Yes.
list their openings on the platform.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a success fee sort of.
Not yet, but we'll be getting to that. We're still not sure on the pay-per-hire model yet.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Oh, did I? Are you sure? Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So thank you very much for the storytelling. I thought it was really clear how you came across and very passionate in the fact that you believe in this.
Thank you.
And that's really exciting. I hope these questions don't come across as harsh, but this is an area that I'm very interested in. So the index scoring is something that I'd love to hear more about, especially in terms of, does this allow privilege to play a part? For example, one of the things I noticed was outside of education, the things that you do extracurricularly,
Yeah.
if you're trying to aim for the people who are the lowest income in the country,
Yes.
how does this then impact their index score?
Yeah. So basically, if you look at our, for example, of our data here, we collect all kinds of information. In fact, in this slide at the bottom, we asked them how much is their daily stipend, how much is their school fees. So we were able to create segmentations to understand different segments of students. So we work with scholarship providers that needs to be able to identify, the most potential and underserved population. So we can within minutes we can tell them, okay, these are the 1,000 people who actually have the potential and they need scholarship. So they don't need to go to other places. We can able to identify them very quickly.
So then that then affects their actual score later on then, right? So this gives them, I guess it's equity, not equality, that you're trying to create with the index. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
equity and equality, actually.
Got it, understood. My second question is the accessibility of the website.
Yeah.
So with this, again, being something where you're trying to reach underserved people, how have you focused on accessibility, and is that a core component of what you're creating?
Definitely. So when you talk about accessibility, you're talking about like infrastructure, internet access, things like that.
Yeah, exactly right. So screen reader access, colorblindness.
Yes. The majority of our users come from like second and third tier cities. And people say that, I mean, the internet penetration and equality is pretty good in Indonesia right now. And then within the next couple of years, when government actually push the infrastructure up, that's gonna push more adoption of our platform. So I think students, I mean, these are digital innates. So you don't need to tell them how to use it. We're built for students. So it's really very simple and straightforward. And our proposition for students is actually life by design. These are people who's accustomed to something instant. So jobs should come to them. They don't need to find jobs. It's life by design and not life by chance or luck, like what happened to us in the past. Thank you.
Sorry, just to clarify that question. How are you focused on accessibility for disabled students? And
For the what?
Disabled students, so...
Oh, disabled? Yes. We're actually trialing a pilot with USAID in Central Java, which is the third largest province in Indonesia with the poor population, and one of the segment is disabled people with disability. So we're identifying them. We're asking them questions. Do you have any special needs? So we identify them so that there's employers that can actually hire them. For example, for the retail, which is the bahasa Inggrisnya padat karya itu apa sih? Labor intensive industry, like retails. Yeah, you're welcome.
My question is about what the employers actually see. So, what sort of data will they see when they are reviewing the information?
Yeah. So, employers actually, the proposition for employers is actually for sourcing and screening, and also for employment branding. These are employers can't find talents in Indonesia just because there's not people that's competent, but the culture also doesn't fit. So for the first time, we can actually create a fit score based on competence model and actually the fit score model. So employers, for example, if we're running, if you need 100 people, within 5 minutes, we can give you 100 people who have the highest level of fit score based on competency and also fit score. So they don't need a source, go to campus or schools anymore. So they can see different lists of different peoples.
Can I ask about the fit scores? So
Yeah.
presumably people are answering certain questions, and
Yeah.
then that then generates the score.
Yeah.
Do you work with the employers to design those questions? And can you give us some examples?
Yes, yes. So we have 25 different psychometric assessments, from personality, from career interests, from personal values, learning style, 6 dimensions of cognitive abilities, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, math, visualization, and work readiness and social competence. So there's 25 of them. So we slice and dice those tools catering to different types of needs. For example, right now, the biggest one is management trainee and officer development program. We only focus on entry-level jobs. So we already create subset of assessment tools that's catering to those jobs. Yeah. And then also for sales, for example. So we identify salespeople need to have certain capabilities and competencies. We create those assessments.
So you're tailoring it?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you describe like how active are actually your users? Is it more like they come in when they actually have the need, do a one-time assessment more or less, and then they're out?
Yeah.
Or like how are they interacting with the platform?
Yeah.
And second question, like out of those 1.6 million people or profiles you have on the platform, like how many actually have you placed so far into jobs?
Yes. So like I said, we started from college readiness. We helped them choose the right majors for them. So back then, our platform was only web only, and our challenges is retention and engagement. So what we notice is it's difficult to engage students and have them do career planning early, especially for students that's still in high school. So we just develop a different series of modules that actually gets them engaged. So ideally, it would be like a 3-4 year journey, even like 5-6 years journey throughout their college and high school, college, and career life. So now we just launched our Android app, and that's improving a little bit on the retention, but we're still having challenges on that. But as we develop more modules, I think we can have a deeper retention on our platform. But usually it's 1 year. One year, within like 4-6 months, they get on our platform very, very intense, and then they're gone. But now with the Android, hopefully it keeps them longer. We just launched our Android last month.
So maybe a last question for me. So I guess my question is around the sticking point and the value proposition of your platform, right? So let's say you go in really early, which I like. As a high school student, you use the platform, and then you graduate and you're at the point that you're looking for a job.
Yeah.
So when I have traditionally went to look for jobs, I basically scan everything, right? I'm not really loyal to one platform. I just kind of want to make sure that I have the greatest access to all jobs possible, and then I start narrowing down. So I guess the question is, what's to stop others from, people who are on your platform to also look at other platforms to see what services they're offering? And then the second thing is, I guess a sticking point for them to keep using your platform is whether they see the value in increasing their employability on your platform. So how do you do that, the employability increasing part?
So number one, the reason why you're doing that in the past is because we're not here yet. Because there's no Rencanamu. So hopefully with our platform, students will no longer go to JobStreet, Indeed, there's probably like 60, in Indonesia, there's 62 different platforms that's transactional on the employer side. We're the only player that's backpedaling all the way 4 years ago, providing intervention for high school students. And hopefully if we carry them on and then have all the best opportunities from internships, scholarships, and jobs, they don't need to go to different platforms.
So you provide them with internships and
Time is up.
Yes.
Faster than that, come on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, Iskender. From Malaysia. Come on, keep it going. suspense up. This is how we keep the suspense up. Nothing more exciting than watching a microphone come on.
Testing. Okay, right. Hi, I'm Iskandar from Holistics Lab, a spin-off company of University Technology Malaysia, and we are offering Quick Halal, the fastest, easiest, and smartest way to halal and food safety compliance. Halal industry is huge, and according to the Thomson Reuters report in 2019, the global halal market will reach somewhere around $9.7 trillion by the year 2025. Malaysian halal certification system can be considered as the most comprehensive and established in the world, and they also recognize other 80 different kind of halal certification bodies in the world. Halal certification is very similar to the food safety system, and if you have a halal logo in your product, okay, it's not only it is permissible for the Muslim, but also it represents the highest quality and safety for all the consumers. Halal certification has been around in Malaysia since 1975, and it is continuously improved by JAKIM, the only government-operated halal certification bodies in the world. Although it is becoming more structured and systematic now, it also becoming more complex, especially for the smaller companies. The bottleneck of this problem are the compliance audit process activities, which include planning, auditing, and also reporting. And currently, all these activities is being performed manually, and it can take between 6 to 24 months to complete and can cost up to $10,000. We want to change this with Quick Halal, the first cloud-based mobile halal and food safety auditing apps. With Quick Halal, companies no longer need to prepare any checklist, since Quick Halal are providing a complete and up-to-date checklist for them. Organizations can also use Quick Halal straight away from their mobile devices, and they can take photo evidence directly from their phone camera. And finally, Quick Halal can generate the compliance audit report automatically and instantly with a touch of a button. We hope with all these features, we can significantly reduce the auditing time down to only 3 hours, starting from $20 a month. Our competitors at the moment are the internal auditors and also consultants, and we hope to revolutionize the halal and also food safety systems by providing faster, easier, and more affordable solution, especially for the SMEs. Quick Halal employ the software as services business model, where we provide free upgrades and also updates of the halal and food safety standards for our subscribers. We hope to gain constant revenue streams from new and also existing halal certified companies, since this company need to renew their halal certificate every 2 years. Consultants and also halal certification bodies from all over the world can also use Quick Halal to support their halal certification process. And on top of that, we also have a secondary revenue stream coming from our compulsory training program that need to be attended by all halal certified companies. And Quick Halal is embedded into our program, since it is a compulsory, since halal audit is a main component in the curriculum. Currently, we have more than 100 alumni coming from our program from 40 companies, and all of them already employ Quick Halal. And one of our clients are McDonald's Malaysia, and they already use Quick Halal in all 285 outlets all over Malaysia. Our next plan is to expand our business in other halal markets. For example, Indonesia, which is the largest halal market in the world, China, Korea, and also Japan. We also want to expand our business in other compliance audit, for example, HACCP, GMP, ISO, and others. Our team consists of me, Dr. Zuhra, and also Rahmat, with a combined of 15 years experience in halal industry and technology. And we are also endorsed and being supported by Jakim, and Quick Halal was launched in 2017. We look for funding of 250,000 US dollar to support, to boost our marketing campaign, to support our technology enhancement, hiring new staff, and also to support our operations. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you for the presentation. I actually happened to build a similar business before around the ISO 9001, yes. About that standard. So like, just to understand it properly, you had those 3 different options next to each other, like an external auditor, an internal auditor, and your software.
Yep.
But is that comparison fair? Like, do you really only need the software? You still probably need an external auditor coming into your business, right?
Yes.
And you probably also still have to have someone internally responsible to actually use that app. So that app really is basically helping you to fulfill all the requirements and like do internal audits, yes. Correct? Or like what way you're placing
it can go both from the internal and also external point of view, because actually both of them are still referring to the same kind of standards. For Malaysia, for the external, is being done by Jakim. Jakim is the sole halal certification bodies in Malaysia, government regulated. For other countries, they also have different kind of halal CB that perform the job of the external auditors.
So who's then your main customer? What have you tried so far?
Okay, at the moment, our focus, actually our main revenue is coming from the internal auditors, and also some of them is coming from the consultants. Okay, but we really hope that we can work closely with the certification bodies. For example, Jakim, we already approached them. They said that, okay, they're interested to use this, but for them, actually, that is not the main source of the revenue. It's actually coming from the business who wants to apply for halal. But again, we want to expand into other different kind of country, because different kind of country, they have their own halal certification bodies. So we want to work closely with them so that it will be easier for us to penetrate the market in other countries.
So you spoke of a just some enormous market, right? But I imagine that's not the direct market where money gets spent on the certification. That's the kind of a more generic number.
Yeah.
Well, how big is the actual market if you look at the consultants and auditors, internal, whatever, if you've segmented in somehow that you're trying to get money out of?
Okay, we just look into Malaysia only. Okay, when I talk about Malaysia, okay, we have more than somewhere around 180,000 SMEs. Okay, who are qualified to apply for halal certifications. But unfortunately, now there are still 90% who are not halal certified. 90%. Okay, most of them are SMEs. Okay, and most of the company who already have halal certification is coming from MNC. That's why when we talk about McDonald's, okay, KFCs, Starbucks, okay, they are very synonym to the quality. Okay, so for us, okay, even though at the first stage we want to approach the SME, but surprisingly, it is easier for us to work with the MNC. And they are actually coming to us who wants to use this kind of solutions. So that is from the SME point of view, but also we are looking at the existing company who already have halal certification. Because when we talk about halal certification in Indonesia, you need to renew every 2 years. So that's why we hope that this can be the constant revenue.
But just to clarify the question, ultimately the only group that's ever paying in this ecosystem is the SME that needs to certify some kind of a product, is paying somebody, a consultant, the regulator, you.
Yeah.
And so how much are they spending currently? Is there any data on that?
Okay, if they do it themselves, okay, based on our research, it can go up to 8,000 ringgits. Okay, 8,000 ringgits, I think maybe somewhere around $1,000 US. Okay. Why is it? Because they need to prepare themselves. Okay, they need to attend courses.
They spend about $1,000 US every 2 years, for example.
Yes, for the consultant, it can go to up to $10,000 US, only for the cost of consultant.
And you have 200,000 potential customers in Malaysia.
Yeah. And actually, we are not only looking at them from the perspective of competitors. We want to work with them.
I'll be really quick. So my question was to clarify the audit process.
Yes.
I'm still not completely clear on how that works. So I have the app as an SME.
Yes.
I do all the stuff that goes through all the data points.
Yes.
Then how does that get audited so that it's regulated, that I'm not fudging up the numbers?
Okay, so basically, from Quick Halal, okay, what we do is we combine, okay, documentation audits and also the site audit. Okay, so that is coming from the standards that we have in Malaysia, and that is the basic requirement. And in fact, for JAKIM, okay, when they come and conduct the audit, they're also referring to the same kind of standards and also requirements. So what we do is we try to make sure that the company who wants to apply are prepared. Okay, so they no longer have any kind of problems, okay, that might caught them by surprise. Okay, so they're already prepared, and in fact, if they find any non-compliance, they can just improve it along the way.
So it's like a checklist pre-audit.
Exactly.
Right, okay, that makes more sense. My second question was around the financials. So you said it's $20 a month, which in essence would take 41 months to reach the 10K that it currently costs, right?
Yep.
41 years to reach the 10K that it currently costs.
Okay.
So for a company like McDonald's or a company that's of that kind of size, 41 years is a really short time period.
Yep.
How does that financially work for them?
Okay, so the thing is that, okay, for McDonald's, for example, okay, they have 285 outlets, whereby each of these outlets have an individual halal certifications. Okay, so it's not like they have one halal certificate just that apply to every single outlet. And each of these outlets will have a different kind of expiry dates. So they need to conduct the audit continuously. Okay, and at the moment, okay, before they have Quick Halal, it takes them somewhere around 2 years, okay, to complete a single round of audit. Okay, so and in fact, the thing is that if they have NANC, they still need to further improve. And this is only for McDonald's. Okay, other companies, for example, like Starbucks, they even have more outlets in Malaysia. And the biggest one so far is QSR, who owns KFC, okay, Pizza Hut, okay, and also Ayam Mas. They have more than thousands outlets, okay, all over Malaysia. And we are only talking about Malaysia at the moment, right? Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the training
Yes.
side of things as well? So
Okay.
this is revenue generating
Yeah.
for you,
Yes.
and you know, people come in and,
Yes.
and you train them. Is there, similar to the renewal of the halal certification, do
Yes.
you have to, is there kind of, you know, do you have to train people every 12
Yeah.
months? Do you have to renew that? How does that work?
Okay, right. For the training, okay, it's only once, okay, because the new regulations set by JAKIM is that for any company, medium and above, it is compulsory for them to have a dedicated halal executive who are qualified. What I mean by qualified is that they need to attend this training. Okay, and we were appointed by JAKIM, okay, as the certified training provider. So actually, we are using both things, okay, parallel, because we also use the training as an awareness or maybe a marketing campaign, okay, for the company. We embed together, okay, Quick Halal in that training program, because halal audit is actually part of the requirements, okay, for these companies or this halal executive need to perform in their organization. So we embed together and we give somewhere around 3 months subscription to give them tests, to let them test, okay, the feasibility. And mostly I can say that 90%, okay, will stick with Quick Halal, okay, for the rest of their operations.
Thank you.
Yep.
I saw that you spent 10 years in the halal certification industry, so I'm sure you know it very well.
Yes.
So I guess my question is just around the competitive landscape and just what's stopping these different certification bodies from just adopting these features, rolling out the software and immediately sort of doing what you basically are doing now?
Okay, currently in Malaysia, okay, the halal certification, there are several different kind of references. Okay, they have the manual that being introduced by JAKIM, and also they have standards. In Malaysia, the standard is being introduced by Malaysian standards, and it is a copyrighted, okay, items. Okay, in the beginning, we just take the items and put inside our software, and somehow we made them and we sign an MOA, okay, with Malaysian standard, and they just allow us to access these halal standards into our Quick Halal. And the beauty thing about this is that the day whereby they introduce the standards, okay, it is being automatically deployed, okay, to our current customers. So no longer they need to prepare all these checklists, okay, prepare all this, doing all the study, okay, on each one of the items from the standards. And in fact, on top of that, we already copyrighted, okay, our software.
Yeah, as and I understand that. I guess I'm just saying, if I am a restaurant and I have this particular certification, then what if that certification body just issues the software? All I have to do is, you know, subscribe to that, and I can get everything done there.
Okay. Right, at the moment, I don't think they have it at the moment, okay, but the thing is that is what we do at the moment in terms of aggressively, okay, marketing our applications, not only in Malaysia, but also in other countries as well.
Yeah, but still, just to build up on that question, if you become successful with this, it's reasonable to believe that even if the certification bodies can't get their stuff together to kind of execute on that, somebody else will try to mimic what you're doing, and
Yes.
it doesn't seem like it's very defensible from a business model or IP or whatever perspective.
Yeah.
So just in terms of strategy, do you have any approach to build additional services, value, just make this business defensible and expand the market somehow beyond the original service? I think kind of that's what concerns me as well. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So basically what we do is... Okay, so is it no? Okay, thank you
Even
very
shout
much.
that time.
Okay,
Very
thank you
good.
very much.
You're
Thank you
doing
very much.
well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next up, Nick from Thailand.
Oh, clicker. Oh, it is on. Great. Everybody knows this is Steve Jobs, right? But most of you probably don't know that it's Lisa Brennan Jobs, the daughter that Steve denied. Even after he took a paternity test, but that was back in the 1980s when the DNA test was only 94% accurate. Today, with our technology, you could be 100% sure. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Purakam, and today we're going to talk about a paternity test. Not for us, not for Steve Jobs, but for hybrid fruit and vegetable seeds. Most people don't realize that quality fruit and vegetable that we consume in our daily lives. For example, this sweet and juicy melon comes from the hybridization of two very, very good parents, a super mom and a super dad. But sometimes, something always goes wrong with the dad. Sometimes there will be contaminated seed coming from a different dad, and it will give you a melon that looks like this. Ugh. This is bad for the economy because you have to throw it away. And it's bad for the seed production company because they don't want to risk their reputation on this. So every seed production company will always make sure before they sell you one of these that it comes from the correct parent. The way they do it is by doing what's called a grow-out test. As the name suggests, you grow out the seeds in the field. You wait the entire growing season, God knows how long, 6 months, 12 months, and then you have people look at each plant to see if they look like what they're supposed to look like. None of the company likes to do it this way because it's laborious, it takes forever, and it's not even that accurate, It's like looking at the baby and try to see if it comes from a super daddy Chris Hemsworth or the crazy guy next door. So, two of the largest seed companies in Thailand came to us for help, and we developed Hybrid Sure. It's a DNA-based technology that could do seed purity testing just like that. 2 days instead of 6 months. It's very accurate, and it works with any variety at all. The reason that DNA test has not been used with seed purity before is because it's extremely difficult to identify appropriate markers. But we figured that out. 2 years ago, I won the Young Technologies Award for developing this particular technology, and earlier this year, Hybrid Sure won Thailand Technology Invention Award. Besides the technology, we also have the largest DNA marker database for elite varieties in Southeast Asia, and we plan on expanding our database. Hybrid Sure is a social enterprise. With the speed of our technology, contract farmers can now grow 4 instead of 2 crop seasons. And that means they make more money, they can send their kids to school, they can take better care of their family. Hybrid Sure also increases the overall production of hybrid seeds in Thailand. Right now, the current market size is about $270 million US. And 2 customers that came to us for help, they occupy about a quarter of the market share. Hybrid Sure has the potential to triple the market size. In 5 years, we plan to be at 50% of the market. Our service is ready. Customer can send us either seed sample or DNA sample, and we'll send them back the test result. we'll charge them on, we'll use the value pricing strategy instead of the cost plus. We have a great team of scientists working with us. I am a co-founder and a CTO, and we're looking for an enthusiastic CEO to join our team to help us grow in Thailand and in Southeast Asia. The CEO will be rewarded equity stake and is expected to raise the valuation of the company for a trade sale in 5 to 7 years. If you just want to make money, you could do it anywhere. But if you want to make a significant impact, if you like to make the world a better place, providing quality fruit and vegetable, then come and join us. If you like to help hybrid shore disrupt the seed industry, join us and we'll take over Southeast Asia together. Thank you very much.
Yes, that was very well delivered and entertaining. Thank you for the presentation. Just I wanted to clarify if I understood the product correctly. What you're offering to do is to provide a service where I can send you seeds from my plants, right, from my crops, and you're gonna give me the analysis.
Yes, so
Okay.
you can
and it's
send us
directly to the farmer. There's no other stakeholders in this value chain or other players involved. Yeah.
So it will be the seed production company who would want to check for the correct parentage of the hybrid seeds. So this is the way the industry works, is that the company will develop elite varieties, the parental lines, and then they will hire contract farmers to produce the hybrid seeds for them. But before they pay the farmer, they have to make sure that the farmer didn't mess up. So it comes from the correct parent. And so before they buy the seed back, they would test for purity or the correct identity of the hybrid seeds. Once it's correct, the farmer will get paid and the company can sell the seeds. Because there's a certain regulation, the seed has to be at least 98% pure, which means that 98% of the seed has to come from the claim parent and has the certain characteristic that they're supposed to have.
So effectively, just to clarify, effectively the industry works like in a way where these companies that are involved in food production, they have farmers to produce a very specific seed rather the other way around, where the farmers decide what to produce and sell it to the market.
Usually it's the company hiring the farmer to produce the seed. Yeah, it's the company who wants to check the purity. Yes.
So is the technology testing of biomarkers of the seed?
I'm sorry, can you?
Is the technology of your solution testing the biomarkers of the seed or?
No, we actually test the DNA. So what we hold the patents on is it's a unique DNA sequence that can check whether or not the seed comes from the correct parent. Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. So technically you could actually apply it beyond the seed, beyond hybrid seeds. You could do it for grape varieties and wine.
Yes.
And is that the plan that you see?
We can apply beyond that. Actually, we do have, so the company also has a different service, which is called cultivar identification, what you're asking. You can check for, see if this particular variety is actually this variety as claimed. But grape and wines, they're not hybrid in a way that they weren't produced from two very good parents. They actually produce clonally, so you just clone them. So they look exactly the same as their parents. But the hybrid seeds, they're actually made from two parents that are different. For example, the mom could be disease resistant, the dad could be very sweet, and then you get the kid that both sweet and disease resistant.
Thanks.
This is mad, but it's amazing. I know nothing about this industry, so my questions are probably totally irrelevant. But the first one I'd love to hear about like your financial model. So how do you make profit from this? Yeah.
Okay, so when we started this, before I joined the LIFT program, we were going to charge with the cost plus strategy, but my LIFT mentors suggested that we should go with value-based pricing strategy, and we actually did that. So large corporate seed company are willing to pay a lot more than the cost plus. And so right now, the profit percentage is almost 100%, which is very good. But we also a social enterprise, so for small SME, for local companies, we like to promote local seed production company and help them compete in the global market. So we'll probably charge them less than that number just to help them get going. Yeah.
That makes sense. Charge the people who have money more and those who don't less. It's a good model. I love that model. Who carries out the test? Just so I understand how that works. So is there
so we have a lab.
Great.
Yes, and there are technicians, the scientists on my team carrying out the actual test. And a lot of it is automated, but you still need people to, put the DNA in the machine, make sure that it's the correct marker you test for.
And my final question, is this something that can be done with like vegetables as well? Is there a particular...
Yes, so you can do it with any, like if you've been to the grocery store and have you seen what, all of those has to be tested before they sell it to you. Because otherwise, if you grow them and if you get a rotten melon, you're done. The company's done. Yeah, so the reputation of the company is very important.
Thank you so much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
You had that number of 270 million market size there. Like, is that global or is that?
Oh, that's just Thailand. So
okay.
that is just Thailand.
Right.
The global, it's a lot bigger. Yeah, especially for Europe and America. But our niche market is Southeast Asia because the database that we have is particular for varieties grown in Southeast Asia, and that is still an open water because nobody has done this type of markers for Southeast Asian varieties before. I mean, European company and US company, they do have specific markers for their varieties. And a lot of companies in Southeast Asia cannot really send their seeds to test there because they don't do customization. We do customization, and we actually customize our DNA markers specifically for seeds grown in Southeast Asia. So that would be our particular niche market, yeah. And we plan to expand to Japan and China and Greater Asia as well.
So just to clarify, there are other companies out there in other regions doing more or less the same thing, but focusing on different other crops.
Yes, similar things, but not exactly the same. The markers are different. So the intellectual property on this is on the DNA marker. That's like what allow you or prevent you from telling whether or not this is the hybrid seed coming from that parent. Am I confusing everybody?
Sorry, so just to clarify, I guess, so the patent is not filed on the method, but the patent is filed per seed?
It's on the DNA sequence with the process of using that particular DNA sequence to do the purity testing.
So it's still sort of per seed?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. So if you discover that they are not the super mom and super dad, I love those terms, what happens? What is the next step in the process?
So you tell the seed production company and they decide whether or not they want to sell that batch of seeds. They will get less for, if the purity is not at 98%, they'll get less for that batch. Or if it's really bad, usually they destroy those batch of seed just to protect their own reputation.
And does this lead, I have, again, like I say, this is not an area of expertise, I understand. But when we talk about genetically modified seeds, is this a part of that process that will enable future seeds to be more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, super?
This is actually not genetically modified seeds. These seeds have been, or the parental lines have been bred for using traditional methods. Yeah, they're not genetically modified.
But will it allow for it? So if you found that these were both, like, again, I'm
super
using
mom
the
or
word
super dad, can you like genetically engineer them? Correct. Yes, you can, with a different technology.
Got it, understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the current capacity of your lab?
Right now we're doing it high throughput, so maybe 10,000 samples a week. But next year, first quarter, we'll get a new machine that is ultra high throughput, and we can do it 10 times higher capacity than right now. So very, very fast.
Yeah, but how does it compare with demand? Maybe to explain the nature of the question, I'm no expert in that field either, so I don't know much about it. But I've seen a few projects in the Lift community that have done things around different type of diagnostics and testings in agriculture. And what often happens is you build a certain capacity at the lab stage, and then it's very difficult to engage customers, and then you get there, and all of a sudden they want to go 10 times over your lab capacity for a single deal, and unless you do that, you can't get the first contract even.
I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
so there's quite a few capital-intensive challenges in actually bootstrapping a business model like this. Yeah. So I was just trying to understand how does it look in your case.
Next year, first quarter, we'll be at full capacity. We can do a lot at the industry scale. Yeah, it will be high throughput. You can do, I don't know, 100,000 of sample a week, and that's a lot.
So you said you already have customers who have about a quarter of the market share in
Thailand.
In Thailand.
Yes.
Thank you. So can you give us some numbers? So what sort of if they were to come to you, well, they have come to you. So what sort of volumes are we talking about, and are you able to actually meet the demand that comes from?
So we just launched a couple months ago. So what they have sent out was just the first batch, and we were able to do 500,000 samples in a couple of months, which is pretty good. And so that was the first batch that they sent. And next year, we're talking, negotiating for the deal for a larger batch. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Our penultimate pitch today comes from Kenneth. Go ahead. Every time I clap.
Hello.
But good, this time you did a good job. There we go.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Kenneth Kim, and I'm from BTBox. I'm currently the CEO and co-founder of BTBox. So a lot of you have heard about Hybrid Sure. That is actually a product of biotech. So biotech can help solve a lot of problems. And how many among you here knows that cancer and HIV doesn't have a cure? But what if I told you that there are probably a lot of people or students who can discover this cure by doing biotech? The answer to that question is very trivial because of the fact that most of the students, for example, in our country, they don't have a decent access to learning resources for them to enable them to realize that they can be scientists someday, that they can be doctors someday. And this particularly hampers the quality of education that is currently being conducted by teachers in our country to increase the competitiveness of our STEM graduates. So when I realized about this problem, I initially thought that I need to do something about it. So I've been working in the lab for almost 10 years, and this problem made me step out of the lab and started BTBox. So BTBox is a small lab-in-a-box kit. So it consists of the chemicals and reagents, and also the lab modules to enable teachers and students to conduct their experiments. So currently we have successfully finished developing 2 of the kits. So the first one is called the DNA Visualite Kit. It enables the teachers and students to extract DNA and to visualize them in a fun and engaging manner. And then next is the Molecular Biomarkers Kit. It enables them to know the applications of DNA information. So as of now, we've been able to technically validate our prototype, and we have successfully come up with a market-ready product. And we have went to several schools already, and we have tested them. And our kit, one of the features of the kit, it's actually portable. You can do it even if you don't have a lab. And more importantly, it doesn't need any equipment that most of the competitors would require for you to carry out these experiments. So the next thing is it's hands-on. So most of the other products is that for you to be able to do them, you need to have a laboratory technician or other external personnel for you to have the chemicals. But for this one, it's already classroom ready, and the students can safely do the experiments individually. So recently, we already partnered with the Philippine Genome Center with regards to conducting educational trainings for the students. And our impact, based on the data gathered from all the participants that we had from last year, there's already a significant increase in their knowledge in the subject matter, especially in DNA. But more importantly is that their confidence about these subjects also increased. And we developed these kits in parallel to the curriculum of the senior high schools, because there's actually a lot of senior high schools who don't have laboratories, especially even the middle income schools. And we aim to sell these kits directly to schools and reach this total market size. So initially, we had a marketing plan to conduct workshops and demonstrate our kits to the teachers. And however, ever since we started to commercialize them, we are hitting a wall in terms of commercialization, and that is we don't have enough funds to really go out and market the products after we have finished the research and development phase. So as of now, we're looking for people to help us carry out our technology and be able to reach the technology out in the market. So that's it. So we are BT Box, and we believe that science is for everyone, and we want to reach more schools out there. And special acknowledgments to all of these. Our project wouldn't have been possible without the help of all of these institutions. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the pitch. It was great. I really like just the idea of having a little portable lab in your home. So I guess my question is, where are you manufacturing? How much are you manufacturing one set for, and how much are you selling it?
So as of now, we're manufacturing it in the lab, and then we can manufacture around 10 to 20 kits in a day. And we currently have a lot of stock, so we're currently trying to go out to schools and sell them. We currently selling them to schools at around 100 to 150 US dollars. For that box is already good for a class of 30 to 40 students, which is the average number of students per sections in the schools in the Philippines.
So you're selling to schools only? Are you selling direct to any students?
We are currently developing a separate product line, but it's still under research and development. And the aim of that is to be able to have individual kits that can be sold to consumer base, like for example, for moms and dads who just want their kids to be like Dr. Wirulda someday. So we are developing kits for grade schoolers, for other market segments.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Thank you. A few questions. So you're currently selling to schools. Could you explain to me, as they already don't have labs, why is it they would have the funding to be able to buy a lab in a box?
Excuse me?
So the schools don't have labs already, right? So there's a reason they don't have labs. Is it because they don't have funding, or they don't have the teachers to provide it?
Okay.
And therefore, what makes it different to buy one of your boxes as opposed to creating an in-house lab?
Yeah, so currently in the Philippines, in other countries, I'm not really familiar about the education system, but the Philippines recently shifted to a K-12 system. So that is the reason why we're already implementing a senior high school program. So that is an additional 2 years in contrast to just 4 years of high school. And for this reason, a lot of schools are required to implement these additional 2 years and implement subjects in STEM, for example, that would require them. It's actually in the curriculum that they are required to perform experiments for all of these subjects. But ever since that it's been mandated, a lot of schools cannot adjust to it because of the fact that it's expensive to first build a lab, to maintain a lab, and more importantly, to acquire the chemicals and reagents for you to perform these experiments. And that is one of that's where the pain in the market right now. And this is even true for middle-income schools. And some of the top-tier schools, they can't also, they don't, they're actually still, it's still even expensive for them to really maintain a lab because you will require a specific laboratory technician to handle all of these chemicals. And that is the reason why the value proposition of what we have right now is to have a classroom-ready kit, that you don't need teachers who are very, even teachers who are not really that knowledgeable about this, can do this in a fun and engaging way to their students.
That's really great. I would love if you'd had that at the beginning of your pitch, because that answers like a million of the questions that I had towards the end. And that's really, really important because I now understand the pain point, especially region and local specific. I also like that you had your contact details at the end for anyone who does pitches afterwards or in the future. It's a really good way that I could just like quickly note it down that I can grab you on Twitter or whatever later. My final question was around the sustainability of your products. I noticed they're in plastic at the moment. How does that work? Do they return them to you? Do you refill them?
Yes.
Very good. I just saw this slide change. Yeah, how does that work?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Actually, the additional value proposition of our product is when you initially buy the kit that contains all of the, for example, the electrophoresis systems, you don't need to buy the entire kit afterwards. You just need to buy the refills. Why? Because we actually don't want to pump in too much plastic consumables. We highly encourage the schools to recycle them because of the fact that aside from recycling, they can also save a lot of money. But more importantly, aside from that, is buying the refills is a lot cheaper than buying the initial kit. But our profit margin for the refills is way higher. So that is where our commercial viability will come by all the reorders that we will get from the schools.
Can I ask what sort of school grade are you children are you sort of targeting with this product?
Currently, we're targeting the STEM track of the senior high school because they're, aside from the problem that is currently we have now in the Philippines, is that's the most it is the most enrolled track in the senior high schools. And in terms of the curriculum, right now it is where the product really fits in. So we had to, during the technology development, we developed, it's actually not just the kit, but the modules were co-developed with educational experts so that it can really fit in the curriculum. So as of now, we're also trying to develop product lines for the higher education institutions and also for the grade schools so that we have a full suite of products.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about your development pipeline? So so this is what you've done so far is
Yes.
very much around biology. Sort of,
Yes.
are you looking to develop chemistry kits, for example, physics kits? What's the direction of travel?
Yeah, as of now, we're trying to focus on the life sciences because of as of now, the current data that we have, this is primarily one of the most enrolled and one of the most prominent programs that it is currently offered in the schools in the Philippines. And we're also developing one for chemistry. And these are probably the two product lines that we will be focusing on. But for other, like for robotics or physics or other, we're still not considering them as of the moment.
Can you share with us what kind of revenue numbers are you hitting currently and like what are the plans for the next 2 years?
So for the initial year, we aim to sell at around 500 to 800 kits, but we still need a year because most of the schools in the Philippines, they would include you in the financing of the budget for the schools, but it will take 1 year for the academic year so we aim to have like 1 year of marketing and product demonstrations so that we can get included in the budget of the financing of the schools. And then after that, that will be the year that we aim to like have initial sales already.
Actually, I wanted to build up on that question. It seems, and correct me if I don't understand this correctly, but you're doing direct sales to schools.
Yes.
You tend to have to wait for an academic year for you to be included in the budget for the next year, and then they would probably commit to some kind of maybe partial commitments, and then the next year maybe they'll equip all of their classes with that. Is that kind of a likely scenario how this would develop?
It's kind of like yes, it's before the schools can like procure this kind of items, they would need to have like an approval from the administrations, and they usually do it per academic year. Mm-hmm. So most of the high schools, this is kind of like the mechanism that is currently implementing. So
yeah, the reason I'm asking that question is obviously this is a fairly slow kind of sales cycle to get into the market, and this would be an amazing impact to education of kids if it grows fast. So I'm kind of trying to do some calculations in my head to develop some kind of a growth model for it, and you probably have a high initial cost of sales type effort where you have to have basically salespeople to go there. Have you tried to model how this can grow at all, or not yet, based on some assumption of production costs and gross profit per year and then cost of sales, stuff like that? Have you done any of this analysis or not yet?
As of now, we have not yet done because we still haven't had market validation, and this is the first step that we wanted to do, is to have our initial sales, and then we can like try to look at whether it will be sustainable to do it this way, and whether or not we need to pivot the business to explore a different go-to-market strategy.
And exactly, this is going to be my continuation to that. What other opportunities do you envision that, I know you haven't validated them yet, but yeah. I'll ask you right.
I got so excited I forgot the microphone. And now our final presentation from Tung from Vietnam. Come along, Tung. Here is the clicker. Give it up, the final presenter of the evening.
Hello. Okay, begin. Hello, everybody. My name is Tung. I'm the founder of FoodMap. Today, I will tell you about our story. FoodMap is the e-commerce platform. We connect between the farmer and end users. Farmer is the small and medium, but we just focus in the food origin traceability system. This is the wheel of the supply chain in agriculture in Vietnam. Farm production is 19%, processed packaging is 21%, transportation is 5%, the wholesale is 17%, and the retail is 24%. And FoodMap will work on the processed packaging, wholesale, and retail. It means more than the 60% of the wheel. This is the problem in Vietnam now. The first, the small and medium farmer can ability to deal the good price with the buyer. The second, many layers between the farmer and customer. In Vietnam now in the 4 or 5 layers, so the cost is very high for the customer. And the food in Vietnam, the information is not clear, so the customer is not cannot distinguish the safe food or unsafe food. And Vietnam now, the rate the people get the cancer disease is very high. So this is the solution of FoodMap. FoodMap is the application. For the farmer side, we cooperate with them and give them the software and the hardware to help them more control their farm more efficiency. And if their product is enough quality, we will sell in our platform. From the customer side, we give them the application with the full information and many for you. And they know exactly what the food they eat, where they come from, and who they grow it. We have the farmer process and packaging. This is the food flour deliver. The food from the farm go to the warehouse food map in the big city, and we process packaging and deliver in the distributor and deliver the customer. We focus on B2B model. 70% customer is B2B, restaurant, supermarket, convenience store. And this is some of the hardware we provide for the farmer to help them to control more efficiency. Irrigation, sensor, gasway, weather station, and this is the software help them to control their farm more efficiency. And from the customer side, we provide the website and application for them easy to find the product and know all information about the product. This is some of the product we sell on the food map: sugar, fruit, fish sauce, coffee. But in the next 2 years, we will focus fruit and specialty food. And this is, we grow very quick, 20% revenue per month. And more than 60 customers come back our platform. And we're very lucky when we, in the 9 months ago, we successfully get fund from the VC. And in this stage, we continue to raise fund, $500,000 for the scale-up stage. And this is our team, 7 people, and I'm a Tung Pham. And this is some of the picture when the team work with the farmer in the Vietnam. And this is our recognition. Yesterday we get the winner, the best outreach Vietnam in this year. And we list on the Forbes. And Intel is the key partner technology IoT with FoodMap. And this is the big picture I want to build in the next 10 years. Now we have the FoodMap, the master. But in the next time, we want to not only e-commerce platform, we want to export the agriculture product and software and hardware. And in the next 10 years, I really want FoodMap can bring positive impact about 1 million people on agriculture and to be the unicorn in the next 10 years. Know your farmer, know your food is our slogan. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the presentation. What is the biggest part or the biggest revenue driver right now? Is it rather the marketplace side or is it the traceability side?
Revenue now, yes. In the last month, our revenue is $50,000 per month, and now we grow the 20% per month revenue, and also the customer. But we just focus on the B2B. In the first, we focus in B2C, but the process is very difficult. So we focus on B2B. Yeah.
And like, what's the bigger value proposition? What's more important for a business customer? Is it the traceability, or is it just like the ease of actually getting the supply?
You know, the B2B customer, they care about the price first and the traceability. Because the target customer, we focus in the restaurant and supermarket, they need the traceability and the price. So the model of the FoodMap cut a lot of layers between the farmer and customer. So we save a lot of cost. And you know, small and medium farmer don't have ability to process packaging good. And even they can do, but the cost is very high. So we help them to do it, and we save a lot of cost. Now in the Vietnam, 19% of cost process packaging, but the FoodMap can down a half, it means 10%. So we can get the money. The second, we can get the money from the order in the FoodMap. We charge in the 10 to 30%, and we also sell the software for the farmer. Yeah.
So how many customers do you currently have?
Now in Vietnam, the B2B more than 100 restaurants and the supermarket and CVS. We just begin it 1 year ago. Yeah.
I didn't get that. How many B2B customers do you have?
More than 100 customer B2B. And B2C, we more than 2,000 customer B2C. Yeah.
Sorry. So how is the traceability done? Sorry. Right, so the traceability, is it done because you follow from the farmer all the way till the product actually sells on your platform? Or is there some sort of special solution that you've come up with?
You know, the farm cooperative, the food map will use our software, and some of them ability to buy the hardware. So we collect data from the farm, and you know, for example, camera they buy from the food map, and we send all information to our platform for the customer can easy to see the farm. Maybe it's not new for the people work in agriculture, but it's very interesting for the customer who don't know the farm, who don't know vegetable.
So
Yeah.
you sort of follow it from farm all the way, the product, whatever the product is.
Yeah, we have a two-way. For example, we have a two supplier. The first small farmer, and the second is the company. The company is very easy because they have the process. But the small farmer, maybe they don't ability to buy the product, hardware, and it's very hard to use the software. So we have a scout team. Yeah, the model is not new in the world. In China also have the model like that. It's named the Mikai, and established it 5 years ago. But now they evaluate more than $12 billion. Yeah. But you know, the market in Vietnam and in China or in Southeast Asia is a little different. So to work well in this sector, must understand the culture of the country. So we very confident. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
So my question is around the stuff that is happening around blockchain and traceability right now. I'm not saying I'm a fan, I'm not saying it's all great, but with it coming into Southeast Asia with things like provenance, how do you see that impacting what you're doing, and is that of any concern in terms of competition?
You mentioned about the blockchain in the traceability, right? I think it's very important for the export, but it's not important for the build customer trust. Yeah, because the customer from the company side, blockchain can give an evidence, but from the customer side, they don't know exactly. So they want to know the picture, know the story behind, who produced the farm, the product, and where the food come from. So the blockchain I think is very good, but the cost is high now. So maybe I don't know in the US or Europe, but in Vietnam it not work. Yeah.
Got it. And my second question was around your last slide actually, which is your success metric is based on a valuation as opposed to either profit or how much revenue you've made. Could you explain why that is your success metric? The slide afterwards. So the last, the one that you were on, yeah. Sorry, the nice stars and universe, there you go. So it says the company to be valued over 100 million by 2023 and by 2028 to be valued at $1 billion. So why is that your success metric? Just to understand your thought process.
Sorry, can you speak again your question? I don't understand.
Yeah. Rephrase. Someone help. Yeah. Yeah. Why is valuation success, not revenue?
Why valuation success, not revenue? You know, I'm now 30, and my big dream is become the billionaire before the 40. Yeah. So this is the thing I must do. Yeah. With the big dream. Yeah.
Great answer. Have you looked in the whole financing side of that business? Because if you're sitting on the demand and you can really make sure that your suppliers are delivering a good supply, like financing those farmers might be very interesting.
Sorry, can you speak slower?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
So have you looked into the financing side? Because you're sitting on the demand, right? You're signing up the B2B side. So you know, like you can actually, you know what people want to buy, and you can also make sure the supply has a high quality.
Yeah.
So it would be very interesting for you to also look into the financing side of that and to finance those farmers.
The finance for the farmer, right? You know, we now, if the farmer follow our standard, we buy more than 10% in the normal price. Yeah, normal price. And because we cut a lot of players, so we have ability to do that. But they must follow our standard and publish the data for the customer. Because we want to bring all the data for the customer. Because customer either buy the product and give money for us and for them. So that all information will be clear. Yeah. And if they railway that, we can buy for them more than the 10% than the normal market. And you know, the big question when I do in agriculture, the farmer ask me that, how can I sell product for them? Because in the Vietnam, many farmers don't sell product with good price, and even they can produce a lot of product, but they cannot sell. So the food map can sell for them. So the food map have a power buyer and combat them to make them more better. Yeah.
You have very ambitious plans. We've heard about them. So how are you going to get there? The team. Can you tell us a little bit about the team, the skills that you're going to need within your team to get to your target 1 billion valuation by 2028?
You mentioned about the app.
Oh, it's about your team.
Yes,
so,
your team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who?
You know, my background is the automation and the IT, not from the agriculture. But in the 5 years ago, I have an opportunity to work in agriculture. I fell in love with it. So I believe that the technology can help the agriculture in Vietnam now. Yeah, and it's a good way to bring agriculture in Vietnam and in the Southeast Asia in the next level. Because now we export with the raw material. It's very low cost. So we want to apply a technology to raise it. Yeah.
No, that's great. And you know, what other skills do you need in your team to, you know, reach your ambitious targets? So who will you hire? So, you know, you've got CEO, you've got CTO.
You know, because we are a startup, we don't a lot of money to hire the experienced people, but we have a big dream and the passion. So we are the young generation. So we either generation to change Vietnam and change the agriculture in Vietnam. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like how is the farmers market structured in Vietnam? Is there lots of small farmers? Are you trying to go for big farmers?
Small farm. You know, for in the US or Europe, it's very big farm. But in Vietnam and many the countries in Southeast Asia, a small farm a lot. Yeah.
Can they actually? Do they have enough money to?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I was going for a handshake, but I got the clicker, so it's okay. Okay, that was very impressive. That was a great pitching competition. So I would like to hear just one sentence of impressions from the jury. Make them tantalizing so it makes it like a cliffhanger afterwards as to who will win. Or not, or just give us a nice... Go ahead, tell us what you thought of the pitching competition.
Loved it.
Great, thank you. Perfect, nailed it. Yeah, that was fantastic, yeah.
I thought they covered a lot given the amount of time that they had, and we really stuck to time, right? So they really got the message across. Yeah, good job to everyone pitching.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I can only agree. Very impressive, very diverse set of different businesses. Yeah, it was fun. Cool.
Cool, great.
Yes, I can only echo what my fellow judges have already said. A really impressive group of people, fascinating technology. It's incredible to see how engineering is helping to solve some of the most pressing social and economic challenges. So fantastic, really good job.
Cool, fantastic.
Yeah, and besides echoing what everybody said, for me it's really stimulating to kind of learn about these different markets and different growth opportunities that exist in them. So that's been quite a pleasant experience. And
cool, fantastic. Yeah, and I think for me, the day as a whole, and it was a great day, wasn't it? It was a long day. We covered a lot. Come on. I think the comments that you just made pretty much sum up the day for me. It was amazing to see the incredible breadth of innovation and the detail in which you're going into to try and solve some of the most pressing challenges of our day. Even more than that, I think, starting out from where we did in the morning, talking about complexity, talking about nuance, I love that there was a big accent on the human aspect of this and on the way that we do what we do in order to change people's lives, in order to make an impact. And I think we saw that everywhere in all of the ideas that we came across, in the pitching competition, in the showcase that we went outside, and in all of the conversations that we've had. I really want to thank you all for taking part today. Tomorrow, as I said, will be very different. Lena will be taking charge tomorrow, and it's going to be great. We're about to have a little celebration outside for 5 years of the LIFT program. First of all, however, I would like to ask you to gather together here for a group photo, and the photographer will take charge and tell us where to go. Whilst you are all gathering here in this area, could I ask the judges to come here for a group photo as well? But do please come up over here and we will take a group photo. I'll explain how it'll work in a second. So what will happen afterwards is that the photographer will come up on stage and take the photo down. So we all gather here in a pool of some kind. Okay, good. Come on, gather close, everybody. There's fun to be had outside, so let's come together. This is working really well so far. Good stuff. And now join the crowd. Of course we need to get into the crowd. What are we all gonna scream? Can we scream lift? 1, 2, 3, lift? Fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I'll give a couple more announcements in a second. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And I'm sure you're all on tenterhooks to find out who the winners of the pitching competition are. You will find out in about half an hour, just outside the lobby. Apparently, we're not done with the photographs. Oh, you want the microphone? Okay. But I really like it. For the video?
I need everyone to shout.
You need everybody to shout Asia Innovates 2019. That's a long sentence for everybody to shout. Okay, let's give it a go. Huh? Can I cue you? I cue? Okay, let's see how this works. Are we all ready? Do we remember the long sentence? Excellent. On 1, 2, 3, Asia Innovates 2019. One more with just Asia Innovates. Okay. Just Asia Innovates. 1, 2, 3, Asia Innovate. Because we do everything in freeze. 1, 2, 3.